Welcome guys on another interesting story. Beneath the same moon that watches over the bustling streets of Lagos, there lived a woman named Simisola. Her life was a masterpiece of wealth, a palace in Lekki where the floors shone like still water and the air was sweet with the scent of success. Her husband, Chief Adewale, draped her in silks and sealed his love with envelopes of naira. But a house built on pride has cracks in its foundation. For Simisola carried a secret wound, a wrong she had inflicted on a young girl from the village, a sin she thought the tides of time had washed away. But the past has long roots, and from it, a seed of vengeance sprouted. It arrived at her gate one morning, not with a shout, but with a whisper. It came wearing the face of a quiet maid named Nneka, and an apron. This is a story that asks, how long can you run from a shadow you yourself cast? Welcome to Echoes from the Baobab Tree, where the timeless spirit of Africa comes alive through the power of storytelling. So, I ask you, my family, to join our circle. Subscribe to this channel, and become a keeper of these echoes. Share these stories with your loved ones. Let's continue the story. The grand, white mansion gleams under the Lagos sun. A black G-Wagon is parked in the driveway. Simisola lived a life too perfect to be true, until the past she thought she'd buried came back wearing an apron and a quiet smile. Simisola's life was carved out of a sweet dream. At 29, she had everything. A husband dripping with wealth, a home in Lekki Phase 1 that smelled of imported polish, and a wardrobe that could shame a Balegan market boutique. Chief Adewale, a major real estate developer, doted on her. He bought her a Porsche Cayenne just to stop her from suffering inside the downfalls, flew her to Dubai for shopping weekends, and turned their wedding anniversary into a yearly carnival. Anything for my Simi baby, he loved to say, slipping envelopes of crisp naira notes into her Gucci purse. Inside their sprawling mansion, Simisola's life had one rule: never lift a finger. Maids did everything. One washed the marble floors until they shone. Another cooked soup so rich they perfumed the street. A third handled laundry, ironing Chief Adewale's expensive abode till the fabric looked carved. Simisola's hands were soft. She boasted she didn't even know where the mop was kept. Her mother once teased her during a visit from the village. "My daughter, if Nipe takes light and the maids vanish, will you know how to light a gas cooker?" Simisola laughed, her gold bangles jingling. "Mama, that day will never come. Adewale won't let me suffer." But her pride came with thorns. Nothing the maids did ever pleased her. If the Ifo Rairo wasn't smoky enough, she complained loudly. If a Persian rug lay an inch off center, she scolded for hours. "Did you call this clean?" she once barked, pointing at a barely visible speck. The girls whispered that Madam's tongue could slice a diamond. It wasn't just harsh words. Simisola had a way of making the girls feel small, forgetting their birthdays, laughing when they begged for time off to see their families, mocking their village accents. One maid, a gentle Calabar girl named Nneka, left the house in tears after Simisola accused her of stealing a gold bracelet that later turned up inside Simisola's own Birkin bag. The incident faded from Simisola's mind as quickly as it had come. But for one person, it planted a seed of bitterness. Months bled into years, and maids came and went like the Lagos breeze. Chief Adewale never raised his voice. "Let them go if they can't meet your standard," he would say, writing another check for a new agency. Simisola took it as proof that she deserved perfection. Yet, something strange began to happen. The replacements stopped lasting even a month. Some left with sudden excuses: family emergency, sickness in the village. Others simply disappeared without collecting their pay. And still, Simisola's mouth sharpened. One hot, humid morning, after the fourth maid in 3 months packed her enormous gold bag, Simisola stood at her balcony, watching the electric gate swing shut. The air was heavy with the smell of last night's rain and a silence she didn't like. She dialed the agency. "I need someone serious this time." Someone who won't run because of small correction. The manager hesitated. Madam, good workers are scarce. Oh. But there's one lady, very quiet. She doesn't talk much. Experienced. If you can handle her quiet nature, she might suit you. Simisola smirked. Send her. I don't need talk, I need work. The compound gate buzzed open as the first rays of sunlight broke through the humid haze. Simisola, in a silk robe, sipped her Chapman on the upstairs balcony as a slim figure in a simple Ankara dress stepped out of a yellow downfall bus. The new maid was striking, tall, dark-skinned, and graceful, with neat cornrows and eyes that held something unreadable. She carried only a small hold-all and a folded economous gold bag. When the gateman walked her to the door, she bowed slightly. Good morning, ma, she said in a soft, deliberate voice. My name is Nneka. Simisola froze. The name stirred a distant echo, but she brushed it off. You're the one from the agency. Yes, ma. Fine. Drop your bag. I don't like lateness or excuses. You will clean the whole house first, then prepare breakfast for the chief and me. I don't eat heavy food in the morning. Just pap with akara and make sure everywhere is spotless. I don't tolerate laziness. Nneka only nodded, eyes lowered. Her calmness irritated Simisola. By mid-morning, the house smelled of polish and warm akara. Simisola noticed details she had never seen, the crystal vases shone, the staircase rail gleamed. Even the stubborn bathroom tiles in the guest powder room looked new. Chief Adewale came downstairs in his flowing agbada and inhaled deeply. Something smells different, he said, smiling. Finally, a maid that understands cleaning. Simisola's lips tightened. It's her first day. Let's wait and see. But Nneka kept working with a precision that felt rehearsed. She moved like someone who already knew the house's heartbeat, where the cutlery belonged, which window latch stuck, the exact spot for Adewale's favorite cognac glass. That night, as Simisola prepared for bed, she heard a faint humming from the boys' quarters. The tune was soft yet familiar, like a childhood lullaby played backwards. It lingered in her mind. The next few days, Nneka worked without complaint. Meals were perfect. Clothes were ironed to perfection. Chief Adewale began to linger longer at breakfast, smiling as he complimented her Ofnsola. She is extraordinary, he told Simisola one evening. You should keep her, my love. Maybe we finally found the right person. Simisola forced a smile, but inside, something tightened. On the fifth night, Simisola decided to surprise her husband with his favorite coconut jollof rice. She entered the kitchen quietly and stopped short. Nneka stood over a pot, stirring slowly counterclockwise, eyes closed, lips moving as if in prayer. Beside the pot, a small calabash bowl held a dark powder that looked nothing like seasoning. What are you doing? Simisola snapped. Nneka opened her eyes with the calmness of someone expecting the question. It's how my mother taught me, ma. For richer taste. Simisola frowned, unsettled by the faint smile on the maid's lips. Later that night, lying beside Chief Adewale, Simisola couldn't sleep. The strange humming returned. And in that half-dreaming state, a face flashed in her memory, the tearful young woman from years ago, the one she had accused of stealing a bracelet. The one who had begged, "Madam, I didn't take it," before running out in tears. Simisola sat up, heart pounding. The resemblance was no longer vague. Nneka wasn't just any maid. She was a Kanom's cousin, the girl from the village she had wronged, and she had come back. But some years back, a younger, less polished Nneka is on her knees, clutching the dusty ground of a humble compound. Her mother, a weary-looking woman, stands over her, weeping. Nneka's mother sobbers. Nneka, you are our only hope. This job with your cousin Ekanom's madam in Lagos, the money will save us. Your father's medicine. Nneka looks up, her eyes full of determination. Nneka said, "I will do it, Mama. I will work hard. I will make them proud of me." Weeks later, a tearful Ekanom returns to the village, her belongings in a cheap bag. She is disgraced, her name tarnished by the theft accusation. The family is shamed. Nneka watches, her face hardening from heartbreak into cold resolve. She packs her own small bag. "Mama," Nneka said. "She thought she could break us and forget. But the soil remembers every footprint." Simisola wakes up trembling. The humming is now inside her head. She calls her friend, Amoka. "Amoka, you won't believe what is happening in my house." She breaks down, recounting everything. Amoka listens quietly. "This sounds like more than a stubborn maid," she says finally. "I know a woman in Ikeja. She prays and sees things. Maybe you should talk to her." That night, Simisola hears soft footsteps outside her bedroom. A shadow passes under the door. Then a whisper, low and cold, "Leave." Her friend took her to a spiritual woman. As they got there, the air smells of burning incense and native soap. An elderly woman, Mama Nkechi, with sharp, bright eyes, studies Simisola. "There is trouble in your home," Mama Nkechi says. "A spirit of revenge has entered through someone you once hurt." She feeds it with food and midnight chants. "I see a clay pot buried in a corner of your kitchen. Inside are things taken from you, your hair, a piece of cloth. Until it is removed, love will turn to hatred." Tears fill Simisola's eyes. "Please, Mama, help me." Simisola and Amoka return quietly. They sprinkle holy oil at every doorway. In the kitchen, they pry a loose tile behind the freezer. Beneath it lies a small clay pot, sealed with wax. Inside, they find strands of Simisola's hair, a piece of her silk robe, and a dark, powdery substance. A faint, angry hum emanates from it. They pour the oil over it and pray until the sound dies. When Nneka returns, Simisola and Amoka are waiting. "You've been busy," Nneka says quietly. Simisola's voice trembles but holds firm. "I knew who you are. I remember what I did to your cousin. But this house is under God's hand now. Whatever you planned will not work." Nneka's calm mask cracks. "So you finally remember? You called her a thief, ruined her name. You thought life would stay sweet. Live now in peace." Amoka steps forward. Nneka's eyes darken. "You can chase me from these walls, but the wound you planted will follow you until you learn humility." She turns and walks out, her soft humming fading into the Lagos night. Chief Adewale returns home. Simisola confesses everything. He listens, his face growing pale as she shows him the evidence. "I don't understand everything about spirits," he says finally, pulling her close. "But I know this house hasn't felt right. We start again. Together." That weekend, they hold a prayer session with their pastor. Simisola prays with a humility she has never known. She makes a decision: no more living maids. She will learn to care for her own home. Simisola, awkwardly learning to cook jollof rice, burning the first batch. Simisola and Adewale laughing as they fold laundry together. The house, once a showpiece, now feels like a warm, lived-in home. Months later, Simisola understood. Not every battle ends with revenge. Some are meant to plant humility so that a home can truly stand. Simisola visits Mama Nkechi to give thanks. "The enemy came wearing an old face," the old woman says. "But what it meant for destruction, God turned into correction." Simisola lives with a light heart. She no longer sees housework as punishment, but as a way to nurture the love and peace she had almost lost. Pride opens doors that even wealth cannot close. A heart that refuses humility invites storms disguised as help, but repentance and wisdom can rebuild what pride tries to scatter. This is Echoes of the Baobab Tree, kindly like, subscribe and share with your loved ones. Well, before we go, what did you think of this unpopular opinion? But wasn't Simisola totally justified? It's her house, she pays the maid salary, so she has the right to demand perfection. Why should she have to be humble to someone who works for her? The maid was the real villain for using juju instead of just finding another job. Or what's your opinion? Let know in the comment section.